What is going on, YouTube? I wanted to make this video to do a real quick comparison between the Kindle Voyage from 2014 and the Kindle Paperwhite 2021. Now, there's a lot of benefits to upgrading to the 2021 Kindle, but I'm not planning to get rid of my Voyage. I love both of these Kindles and I have very different purposes for each one of them. So I want to break down a few things that I really like about the Voyage, a few things I really like about the Paperwhite, and then talk about why I would use each one. So first of all, with the Voyage, it came out in 2014, so it's a bit of an older model. One interesting fact about this is that recently they've had software updates that have completely changed the menu system on the Paperwhite. You have the home and the library buttons on the bottom. That software update did not come to the Voyage. So if you're very familiar with the older layout, it hasn't changed at all, and I'm not sure if it ever will. Well, that's just if you like that option. I'm fine either way. I've gotten comfortable with both versions, and I'm happy with both of them. The big thing about the Voyage that was different than all the other Kindles that I really appreciate is the haptic buttons. You have the two lines, and then you have the two dots, and when you hit the line, it moves you forward. If you hit the dot, it moves you back. I've heard people before say, well, if you don't push it in just the right place, it doesn't work and you don't get the vibration. That's what muscle memory is for, okay? I haven't even had the Voyage that long, but I love it. And I love being able to read one-handed comfortably and just use the line and the dot, get that little haptic vibration that gives me, okay, we're registering that you pushed the button and we're moving forward and back. The Paperwhite. Something that I really appreciate about this, and a lot of people have talked about it, is the warm light and the dark mode. And quite honestly, I didn't think I needed either one of those, but I'd say the biggest use for that for me is in the evening, it does feel good to turn the warmth on the screen up a bit. Not a ton, just a little bit is comfortable for me. But if I'm falling asleep next to my wife and I want to read a little bit longer, I'll put on the dark mode, because then you have the least light bouncing around the room that can bother your significant other, right? As far as speed goes, you watch the videos, yes, the newer model is fast, but I go back and forth between these two Kindles all the time, and I've never been going, oh my goodness, this Voyage is so slow, it doesn't keep up with my 2021 Paperwhite. It's such a negligible difference that it doesn't bother me whatsoever. They've also added the special page turn effect in the new model, and I think that's just turn it off. If you're getting excited because you can see a page turning on your screen, then just get a real book, because it looks silly. It's not necessary whatsoever. Not to hate on either one, because like I said, I love both of these Kindles, and they both have a different specific use for me, which I'll explain right now. Because of the slightly larger size of the 2021 Paperwhite, I don't like to use it one-handed, but when I get out of the house, I'm almost always reading one-handed. I've actually got a pop socket on the back of the newer Kindle now, and I actually love that setup. I'm not going to get a case for it because the cases are expensive, and this is not a travel Kindle for me. It's mostly, relaxing on the couch or falling asleep and being able to use that warm light. Also, it's waterproof, so if you're someone that likes to read while you lay in the bath and relax, sure, that's a great option. I've done that with the Voyage before too, and I'm not really worried about it because I'm not going to drop it or fall asleep in the tub. But, you've got a little bit more security knowing, okay, my new Paperwhite is completely waterproofed, The Voyage is my take out of the house, going on a trip, getting on the bus, going on a picnic, going to the library. I don't know if they look at me funny when I bring a Kindle into the libraries, but I love reading in a public library, even if it's digitally. So that is how they work for me, okay? The new Paperwhite is great around the house. The slightly larger screen is comfortable, especially if you're someone that does not have great vision and you need slightly larger words. Like, I like to bump up my font or my text size, but only in the evening. I'll use that when I'm going to sleep. When it gets later, when I feel tired and I'm a little bit less, I'm a little bit more disoriented because I'm about to pass out, but I still want to finish, this chapter or this section, then I go, great. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and have that slightly larger font. Also, fun fact, basically with all the same settings on both of these Kindles. Text size 1 on the Kindle Voyage and text size 2 on the Paperwhite 2021 will give you the exact same layout on your screen. You'll get the exact same amount of words on both devices. Now, it doesn't work perfectly if you move up. Like 3 doesn't become 4, 4 doesn't become 5. You know, they change. But if you're used to reading at font size 1 on the Voyage, then you can bump up to a 2 on the Paperwhite, and you'll have the exact same layout with the exact same amount of font on your screen, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think I've rambled enough. If you enjoy the haptic buttons on the Voyage, you have to kind of get used to not having that on the Paperwhite. But it's not a deal breaker, okay? Like I said, it's not as easy to read one-handed. You can still do it. The pop socket I have on mine makes it comfortable to read with one hand. But I don't like using my left hand because having to slide my finger from right to left to move forward doesn't feel comfortable, so I'm more likely to use both hands to turn the page unless I'm using my right hand. But I love the warm light. I love the dark mode. Those are both super helpful in the evening. The slightly larger screen is nice for reading at home and reading, when your vision's not great. The Voyage is just a perfect size to fit in my pocket to take out of the house. It's great for one-handed reading. It doesn't need a pop socket. I do have the the origami case for the Voyage, which I will use occasionally if I'm going to go somewhere where I know I'm going to be sitting the Kindle up so I can read while I'm eating or whatever the case may be. But I'm totally fine with neither one of these having a case. I feel like, we're treating our Kindles like our pets and we want to dress them up. But the longer I've had them, the more I've felt there's no necessity in putting it in a case. They're both great, just the way they are. So yeah, that's my feelings. I feel like anybody else that had the same setup would probably love it. It's amazing. And you can find both of these at great deals online, especially if you get them from people that bought them and then decide, I'm just going to read on my phone anyway. And I shouldn't make fun of people like that. Okay, some people are totally fine. They're not, well, I don't know. Maybe there are people that are constantly reading and they're fine doing it on a phone. That's not for me. I feel so much better using a Kindle and just putting all my other devices away and not being worried that I'm going to want to jump on Facebook or, I don't know. I don't really use TikTok, but you know what I mean? There's so many distractions. And I feel like it's so relaxing to just grab a Kindle and start reading a book. You can tell from my screens that I like reading autobiographies. That's not the point. My point is they're both great. My suggestion is if you can get both of these, get them. Use the Kindle Voyage as your walk-around Kindle. Use your Paperwhite 2021 as your homebody Kindle. And it will be a great setup for anyone who chooses to do so. I guarantee you're going to love it.